Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty big that came out of Google Cloud. Next, just recently, April 9th, actually, Firebase Studio.
Yeah, this looks like it could be quite a significant shift, especially for anyone building those full-stack apps that are increasingly leaning on AI.
Exactly. And modern development, it's already complex enough, right? And now there's this constant push to weave in AI. And not just superficially, businesses want it done fast, they want it done well.
Totally. The pressure is definitely on. Faster cycles, higher quality AI apps. That's the demand.
And Google's answer, it seems, is Firebase Studio. They're pitching it as this end-to-end platform, taking existing Firebase stuff, which lots of folks use already, and mixing in new AI smarts from Gemini.
Right. Core idea seems to be speeding up that whole application lifecycle. From idea to deployment, hopefully smoother. And it's in preview now, which is key.
Yeah, people can actually try it. So for this deep dive, our mission is really to unpack Firebase Studio. We want to pull out what really matters for you, the listener, and figure out, how might this actually change how you build apps?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so Firebase Studio. Big picture, it sounds like they're pulling together Gemini in Firebase, GenKit, and wasn't Project IDX part of this too?
Yeah, that's right. Project IDX is basically becoming Firebase Studio. They're merging these tools into what they're calling a natively agentic cloud environment. A bit of jargon, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little. But what does that actually mean for a developer, like day to day?
Well, the goal, as Google puts it, is letting developers build and ship production-ready AI apps really quickly and doing it all in one spot, less jumping around between tools, theoretically.
Okay, one unified place. And they're making it easy to get started, sounds like. Mention something about free workspaces.
3 workspaces free during the preview, and apparently more if you're in the Google Developer Program.
That's pretty smart. Get people kicking the tires without needing a credit card up front.
Definitely. Drives adoption, gets some feedback, makes a lot of sense for a preview phase.
So one thing that jumped out at me was this app prototyping agent. Sounds like it's for starting new things. How does that work?
Yeah, this looks really interesting for greenfield projects. The idea is you can basically describe what you want, the UI, the APIs, even the AI flows using natural language.
Just talking to it? Or typing?
Both, it seems. Or even using, like, images, drawing, screenshots. You feed it your concept visually or textually.
Wow. Okay, so instead of wireframing and coding up a basic structure, you just describe it.
Pretty much. And it's iterative. You prompt it, it builds something, you give feedback, refine it with more prompts, and it updates the prototype.
And then what? You get some code snippets or...
Even better, apparently. You can deploy the prototype directly to Firebase app hosting. So you get a functional live thing pretty fast.
Hold on, a functional prototype from just prompts and maybe a drawing?
That's the claim. A working version you can actually interact with and share.
That's potentially huge. Think about getting feedback way earlier. Just send a URL.
Exactly. Accelerate that whole ideation phase. Share it, test it, get insights fast. And then they say it's just one click to move from that prototype into a proper coding workspace.
Okay, so the prototype gets you started, but you still need to build the real app. What about these coding workspaces? Are they just like VS Code in the cloud?
Sort of, but with more AI baked in. They're aiming to simplify coding with Gemini helping out. Think code generation, debugging help, testing, refactoring, even explaining code or documenting it.
AI paraprogrammer, essentially.
Kind of, yeah, but integrated right into the Firebase environment. And it's not just for new apps.
Right. What if I have an existing project? Can I bring that in?
Yep. You can import code from your local machine or hook it up to GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket are supported. And teams can create custom templates, which is nice for standardizing setups.
Okay, good. So you can bring your own stuff, and within that workspace, you can build out the whole stack. Front-end, back-end, AI model.
That's the idea. Customize everything, the AI model stuff, agents, RG for grounding in your data, the UX, business logic, databases, plus integrating other APIs and microservices easily.
RED, retrieval augmented generation. That's the thing where the AI looks up specific info before answering, right?
Exactly. So it's not just making stuff up, it's using your data.
Okay.
And the workspaces let you bring your familiar tools too.
Oh, like what? Extensions?
Yeah, extensions from the OpenVSX registry, your config files, environment variables. I'm trying to make it feel less like a completely alien environment.
Makes sense. Developers like their setups.
Yeah.
Deployment. Where does it go?
Built-in options for Firebase backend services and Google Cloud Run. Pretty seamless push to Google Cloud.
Yeah.
But they also say you can deploy to your own custom infrastructure if you need to.
Okay, flexible, good. So this agentic thing, you mentioned Gemini Code Assist agents. What are some specific examples? What can they do?
Right, so they highlighted a few. There's a migration agent. Think like moving your code from Java 11 to Java 17, maybe. The agent helps automate that.
Ooh, that could save some serious pain. Migrations are often tedious. What else?
An AI testing agent. This one's interesting. It runs adversarial tests against your AI models. Basically tries to poke holes in them, find harmful or weird outputs before your users do.
Ah, like red teaming the AI. That's
Yeah.
crucial for responsible AI stuff.
Exactly. And the third one they mentioned was a code documentation agent. It generates a wiki-style knowledge base about your code.
Automatically, like keeps it up to date.
That seems to be the goal. Imagine how helpful that could be for onboarding new developers or just reminding yourself how a complex module works.
Yeah, documentation is often the first thing to fall behind. These sound useful, but they mentioned a wait list for these specific agents.
Correct. Early access via the Google Developer Program. So not quite fully rolled out yet. They're likely testing the waters, getting feedback.
Gotcha. Okay, shifting gears slightly, but still on testing. There's this other new agent, the app testing agent in Firebase app distribution. How's that different?
This was more focused on testing the app's functionality, like from a user's perspective. But instead of writing test scripts, you give it goals in natural language.
Like book a flight to Hawaii.
Exactly. Or find a trip to Greece was their example. You tell it the user's goal.
And then
Then Gemini figures out the steps needed to achieve that goal within your app's UI. It formulates a plan and actually runs it, clicking buttons, filling forms, navigating screens.
whoa, okay. It runs a test on real or virtual devices.
Both, apparently.
Yeah.
Virtual or physical. And the output isn't just pass-fail. You get detailed reports, why it passed or failed, even a visual trace of the path it took through the app.
That sounds incredibly powerful for UI testing. Finding those weird edge cases or broken flows.
Could be a massive time saver for QA, definitely. Right now it's in preview just for Android apps, but they plan to add more platforms later.
Definitely one to watch.
Mm.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit to the underlying AI tech. GenKit and Vertex AI got updates too.
They did. Big news for GenKit is wider language support. Early support for Python, which is huge in the AI world, and expanded support for Go. Makes GenKit usable for more developers.
Remind me, what's GenKit's main job again?
It's basically a framework for building more complex AI agent behaviors. Things like getting structured output from models, letting AI call external tools or APIs, having humans step in when needed, that human-in-the-loop thing,
Okay.
and also managing AGI, coordinating multiple models, handling context across different calls. It's the plumbing for sophisticated AI interactions.
Got it. So more languages means more people can build that complex plumbing. What about the actual AI models you can use?
Through GenKit and Vertex Model Garden, you get access to a lot. Google's own Gemini, Imagen 3 for images, but also popular ones like Llama, Mistral, and you can even bring your own self-hosted models using a Llama, plus community plugins. Lots of choice.
So you're not locked into just Google's models.
Nope. Flexibility seems key there. And Vertex AI and Firebase, the SDK for putting AI in your apps, also got updates. Imagen 3 models are in, and this new Live API for Gemini.
Live API, what's live about it?
It's geared towards more conversational stuff. Think audio input, audio output. Like you could talk to the app and it talks back, powered by Gemini. More natural interaction.
Ah, interesting, like building your own voice assistant features. Okay, let's switch to the data side. Firebase Data Connect is now generally available, GA. What problem does that solve?
Data Connect is really about bridging Firebase apps with the power of relational databases like Google Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL. It gives you that robust backend, but simplifies access with auto-generated GraphQL APIs and type-safe SDKs.
So good for apps with complex data, like social media or e-commerce?
Exactly. Things with lots of relationships, maybe needing recommendations, that sort of thing. And the GA version has some cool new tricks. Well, you can use Gemini and Firebase to help generate your database schemas and GraphQL queries, like describe what data you need, and helps build the backend structure.
AI helping with database design now, too.
Okay. Yeah, potentially speeds things up a lot. They've also added better query features, native aggregation for analysis, atomic updates, transactions, making it more robust for complex operations, and tighter integration with web frameworks.
How so?
It can auto-generate type-safe hooks components for frameworks like React or Next.js, making it easier to pull data into your front end safely and quickly.
Nice. Okay, and Firebase app hosting also hit GA. What's the headline for that?
App hosting is their Git-centric solution for modern web apps, especially full-stack ones. You connect your GitHub repo, push your code, and it handles the build, CDN deployment, server-side rendering,
Oh,
all managed.
takes away a lot of the DevOps hassle.
That's the aim. And the GA release adds some useful developer experience things, like a local emulator for testing your full stack locally.
Oh, that's crucial. Debugging cloud stuff locally is always better.
Totally. Better error messages too, plus a new monitoring dashboard. Instant rollbacks if something goes wrong in production.
Rollbacks are lifesavers.
Absolutely. And finally, connectivity to a VPC, a virtual private cloud. So your hosted app can securely talk to other back-end services in your Google Cloud project that aren't public.
Okay, so making it more enterprise ready, connecting to internal resources, right? We've covered a ton of features. What's the buzz been like? What are people saying about Firebase Studio?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. You see different takes. The Register mentioned this idea of vibe coding, kind of prompt-driven development, almost hands-off.
Vibe coding, like you just give the AI the general feeling you want.
Sort of, yeah. It's a term linked to Andrej Karpathy. And Firebase Studio seems to lean into that idea with its agents. Makes you wonder about the future role of developers, right? Or prompters.
But how's it working out in practice? Any early feedback from developers trying it?
Mixed bag, honestly. The same article quoted a developer, Oscar Molnar, who tried building a chess clock app. He called the AI part basically useless after a couple of hours. Said it kept making mistakes, correcting itself. Wasn't a smooth experience for him.
Ouch. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement.
No. But, to be fair, the article also noted others had better experiences, like building a Chrome extension successfully. So it might really depend on the task complexity, maybe. Or just the current state of the preview.
Could be. It's early days. Did Molnar have other concerns?
Yeah, he was skeptical about generating truly production-ready apps this way, especially thinking about long-term maintenance. Like, if the AI wrote most of the code, who really understands it deeply enough to maintain or evolve it reliably?
That's a fair point. Maintaining AI-generated code could be a whole new challenge. But Google showed a demo, didn't they?
They did. Rody Davis and Kelvin Boateng built a Next.js app from a prompt, apparently super fast. It even had image recognition using Gemini, and they deployed it right to app hosting. That demo looked very slick.
So a big contrast between that slick demo and Molnar's experience. Makes you wonder about that rapid prototyping promise.
If it works reliably, it could drastically speed things up. But reliably is the operative word here, based on that early feedback. It also brings up the definition of agentic AI.
Right. Google and NVIDIA talk about autonomous tasks, reasoning, planning.
Yeah, but Molnar's view suggests maybe the current Firebase Studio isn't quite that revolutionary yet. He compared it to features already in tools like Cursor, implying it might be a bit overhyped right now.
So maybe more evolutionary than revolutionary at this stage.
Possibly. But the strategic move is clear. Renaming Project IDX, integrating it tightly with Firebase. Google is definitely positioning this as their answer in the AI IDE race against, Microsoft's Copilot, Amazon's Code Whisperer.
Makes sense. It's a competitive space. So boiling it down, what are the key benefits Google is hammering home?
They're really pushing the AI-powered scaffolding for starting projects fast. The context-aware coding help from Gemini, real-time collaboration for teams, the AI testing features for better quality, and that smooth deployment via app hosting. It's about an integrated, accelerated workflow for AI apps.
Okay, so bringing this all together for our listeners, what are the main things to take away from this Firebase Studio launch?
Well, I think it's clearly a big step towards more AI assistance in full-stack development. It's this unified environment, cloud-based, trying to cover everything from the initial idea, that prototyping phase, through coding, testing with AI help, and deploying, especially within the Firebase world.
That integration seems key. If you're already using Firebase, this could feel quite natural.
Potentially, yeah. But as we discussed, the initial reactions are definitely mixed. Some people are seeing real value, others are hitting roadblocks in the preview.
So it's not magic yet. The effectiveness might really vary depending on what you're trying to build, maybe how good you are at prompting the AI.
That could be part of it. But the potential is there, right?
Yeah.
Speeding up development, enabling maybe new kinds of AI-first apps. That's the promise, especially with Gemini deeply integrated.
For sure. The potential is definitely exciting, even if the reality is still evolving. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to mull over.
Go for it.
Given where things are heading with tools like Firebase Studio and just how fast AI development tools are moving, How do you see this changing what it means to be a software developer? What parts of this AI assistance feel most promising? And conversely, what challenges or, I don't know, maybe anxieties does relying more heavily on AI in your workflow bring up for you?
That's the big question, isn't it? Lots to chew on there.
Definitely. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for tuning in.